And we're back, guys. Hey everyone. Today I'm going to be sharing my Oracle deck collection with you. I want to go through the different decks and show you the artwork and what I love about each of these decks. I am going to do a separate tarot collection video just because for the purposes of time, just didn't want to make a video that was super long. But yeah, stay tuned and we'll get started. Okay, so our first deck is the Oracle of Shadow and Light by Lucy Cavendish. These are the backs. I edged this in black with the wrong kind of marker, and it bled all over my hands for like the last year. But let me go ahead and show you what this artwork looks like. I really love this deck, even though it has it may seem like a little bit of a juvenile vibe. I get really strong messages from this, from just the imagery, the artwork, and I think the guidebook for this is also well done. So this is probably my favorite Lucy Cavendish Oracle deck, hands down. There were a couple months where I used this exclusively, probably like sometime last year. Just really, really love the imagery of this deck. I'll go ahead and show you a few more so you can kind of love this deck. Alrighty. The next one I'm going to share with you is called Messages from the Fairies. This is a Doreen Virtue deck. This one might be out of print. I think most of her decks at this point are out of print, but what I really like about this is that it has very specific messages. A lot of the Doreen decks for me, regardless of, her current state of, what she's into now, I didn't necessarily love her work, her body of work, even though what she did was, for her generation, was kind of a big deal with all of the light worker type of work and just the mountain of, I actually made a whole video about Doreen Virtue and another deck that I'll talk about in a minute, but some of her decks are super fluffy, and I feel like for me, Oracle decks are just kind of like going into a candy store. It's particularly these kind of light and fluffy decks, and just like taking a big bite into sugar. And sometimes I don't know if that makes any sense, but sometimes they can be comforting, and sometimes they are just kind of a nice and fun pick-me-up. And so I just like Debt Paid Off. There's some really cool ones in this particular deck. I do have a few of her decks. I don't have all of them because I don't love every single deck that she's done, but the ones that I have are definitely my favorites of hers, and I will definitely keep them in my collection. Alrighty, moving on to the Moonology deck by Yasmin Boland. This is another fabulous deck. I actually, what I love about this is, first of all, it's just stunning. The guidebook is really great. I often use this in ritual work with a friend of mine. I don't use it all the time because I personally am a Cancer moon. My moon energy, I'm just very, very, very sensitive. And so sometimes I find this deck to be a little intense for me. Sometimes I'm not always ready for it, which is weird. But anyways, I love this deck. I will keep it. I like to use the guidebook in ritual and pull these cards during moon rituals, basically, is kind of what I use this for. I don't always use them in client readings. I don't even think I've used this in any of my pick a cards, but it's just a special deck for me. I highly recommend it. I love Yasmin Boland. This is a fabulous, great deck. So, and there really isn't any other decks out there that you can really compare this one to. So great deck. All right. The next one we have is another Doreen Virtue. This is the Crystal Angels Oracle. The cardstock on this isn't, again, this one might be out of print. The cardstock on this isn't the best. Like, there's some damage, but I have used this a lot. What I do love about this is obviously the crystal correlations. One of the biggest, I would say, criticisms of this particular deck is that it says it's the Crystal Angel deck. However, the angels aren't necessarily mentioned in the deck, which I don't really care about because I got it for, the crystal associations personally, but this is a really bright, really fun deck. And this is also, not that her decks have a lot of shadow, but there are some things in here like value your self-worth, clearing negativity. And obviously that's not like super deep shadow stuff, but there are some things in here about, one card I pull all the time is like, something about like control issues and things like that. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's balanced, but there are some things in here that kind of bring up, self-control and things like that. Progress, not perfection. So purification, detoxification. So I really, it's a gorgeous deck and I like working with this one a lot, especially for clients. Okay, moving on, our next deck is the Spirit Animal Oracle. This is a Colette Baron Reed deck. I got this because the artwork is stunning. I'm just gonna lay cards down so you can see. It's a stunner of a deck. No other way to say it. A lot of her decks are beautiful. I think this is, I only have 2 of her decks actually. And I think it might be the same artist for both of them. I could be wrong. But I have, I only have 2 of these. 2 of her decks, sorry. I won't do a total flip through of everything. If you see any of the decks that I'm showing and you want to see a full flip through of something that I don't already have on my channel, just let me know. I would be happy to flip through something completely for you. Alrighty. I love this deck for client readings and myself. Like, it's one of my, I have 2 animal decks that I love, and this is probably one of my favorites. Okay. Oh gosh, guys. Okay. This next one, this is the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, illustrated by Danielle Noel. I love Rebecca Campbell as an author. Her book, Rise Sister Rise, I couldn't recommend it more. One of my favorite books I've read in the last year. I also just started Light is the New Black. It's more of like she definitely has like personal anecdotal stuff in both. Light is the New Black is a little bit more of a memoir, but Rise Sister Rise is an incredible book. Highly recommend it. Oh my God, the artwork. So yeah, definitely the Danielle Noel signature pastel, gorgeous, gorgeous deck here. What I love about the Starseed Oracle and what I love about all of Rebecca Campbell's work is that even though you see these, I mean, the artist has done a beautiful job in terms of with these pastel colors and everything, and it may look light and fluffy, but the guidebook for this is very deep. And if you resonate with Starseed stuff, it's, I can't recommend it enough. The guidebook is very deep for this. Anytime I do, I also use this in Moon Ritual with a friend of mine, and oftentimes I will read from the guidebook with this deck, if it's just like me and her, and I will get profound, like deep messages from this, and I love it. So couldn't recommend this one enough. I mean, look at this. Okay. Alrighty. Next up is another Colette Baron Reed deck. I do have a flip through of this one on my channel. This is the Mystical Shaman Oracle. There are animals in this deck, but it's not necessarily like just a straight up animal deck, so I wouldn't consider it to be one. But oh my gosh, you guys, this is a stunner. I have a full flip through of this. Probably one of my favorites. The guidebook is great. Very deep readings from this. Just phenomenal. I'm actually moving through quite faster than I thought I was going to. I'm like trying to rush through because we have still a few ahead of us. Look at that. Love this. Alrighty, next up we have the Halloween Oracle. I really like this one. Obviously, it's Halloween themed. If you're someone like me, you probably will use it year round. If you're the kind of person who decorates with skulls, you might want to use something like this year round. Just love it. It's fun. I think from what I remember, the guidebook is pretty quick and to the point. It's not a huge deck, but it's a lot of fun. How pretty, that death. I really like this one. Super cute. I will absolutely be keeping this around in my collection. If I find that I'm not using something consistently, I will give it to a friend, cycle it out, and move on to the next, because even though I have a lot of decks here and I do have a lot of tarot, which I'll do another video on, I use all of them. And if I don't, I definitely give them to friends. Okay, this next deck, this is more of an honorable mention. This is not technically Oracle. This is the Kipper deck by Ciro Marchetti. I did a flip through of this on my channel if you want to check it out. I thought it felt more comfortable going into my Oracle collection than my tarot collection, just because Kipper is its own system, and so I didn't want to put it into my tarot. But if you want to see more on this, I have a full walkthrough of this. I'm still learning how to use this. You could technically, I guess, use this as Oracle if you wanted to, but I just haven't worked with it enough yet to feel like super confident with the Kipper system, but I don't think it's, you know, going to be super difficult. I just need to get some time to work with it a little bit more, but I like it. Excited to work with it a little bit more. Alrighty. Now we're on to another Doreen Virtue deck. I also have a full flip through of this on my channel. This is the Romance Angels Oracle by Doreen Virtue. This is out of print. So what I will say about this deck is, disclaimer, my friend Jen, if you're watching, because you probably are, learned this the hard way. And not just with this, but with any other decks out there. And some people might care, some people might not. There are a lot of bootleg copies of decks that are out of print or counterfeit decks. This deck is out of print. There is a copy on Amazon now that's like the size of playing cards that you'll see. And it's bootleg, it's counterfeit. If you are fine with that, like, go do your thing, but just know that it's not, and a lot of people love this deck and we're looking for it. I wonder if Hay House will ever re-release this, but I don't know how all that copyright stuff is going to go down with Doreen Virtue, or how, I'm so curious about, these are the things I think about. If anybody knows, feel free to let me know in the comments, but I really like this particular deck. There's not a lot of romance decks out there that are quite like this one. This one does have, there's a card in here about red flags. There's there are some red flag cards in here, like deception. So this isn't unrequited love. Like, this deck isn't it's not all fluffy and, you know, pure sugar, if that makes sense. Like, there are some it's a little bit more balanced of an oracle deck, which I quite like, especially for matters of romance. So, doesn't she look like Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell? Now I'm showing my age, but Kelly Kapowski, Saved by the Bell, every single time I pull that card. But yeah, just be mindful if you are interested in oracle decks, where you're purchasing them. My friend Jen, who's listening to this, she learned that the hard way. She ordered a bunch of decks, and they, when she got them, they were poor quality, size of, you know, regular playing cards, and we had quite a laugh about that. So, Doreen Virtue, Romance Angels Oracle. Alrighty. I'm moving really quick through this. I'm proud of myself. Not really. Oh gosh, we're at 17 minutes. I'm not moving that fast. Okay. Tasha Silver, Wild Offering. I will gush about Tasha Silver for a second. The back of these cards are absolutely stunning. This is more of a affirmation deck. It may not be for everyone. I have purchased other affirmation decks in the past, which I have re-gifted to friends of mine, because I don't like an affirmation deck. But for this, I feel like you can kind of go off of the word, and there's something more to it. I also just love Tasha Silver so much as a author. And my favorite book of hers is kind of escaping my brain at the moment, but man, she has quite a powerful voice, and I just love her style of writing and her personality. So I highly recommend her work in general. But this is a stunning deck if you want an affirmation deck, or just something to kind of throw onto the end of a tarot reading. This is a fun one, and this is probably the only affirmation deck I will ever hold on to or keep in my collection, because if I'm not working with something, I will give it away. So love this deck. and Tosha Silver, so much. Okay. Okay, so our next one is the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck by Kim Kranz. This is very popular. This deck is a stunner. I love this deck. I don't use it as often as I would like to use it. And the only reason being is that you don't have to use the guidebook if you want to let your intuition run wild. There are, you know, the elemental symbols on here. But I feel like the guidebook offers so much insight that, and if I'm doing a reading for others, or if I'm just trying to do something real quick, this isn't the deck that I will run and grab. However, if I'm trying to do something a little bit deeper or a ritual work, I will, oh my gosh, that turtle, I will grab this and get really profound. I mean, the artwork on this is just amazing. I think Kim Kranz is an amazing artist. I fall into the camp of, I don't really like the Wild Unknown Tarot. Sorry to say that. It's not, I think the artwork is beautiful, but as a deck, it doesn't speak to me as a tarot deck. But this, I really, really, really love this. So, wanted to share this one with you. Alrighty. This next one is the Illustrated Herbiary deck by Maya Toll. There is a flip through of this on my channel. You guys, it's gilded. I haven't been using this. It's really nice. It's colorful. It's pretty. I'm not connecting with it. I'm not reaching for it. And so for me personally, I'm probably gonna have to rehome this. So my goal is I want to get to 1,000 subscribers so that I can do free tarot readings for you guys. That is my goal, 1,000 subscribers in 2021, right? Because who doesn't want a free tarot reading? That's how I want to connect with you guys and spend my time. But anyways, when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing a giveaway, and so I might give this set away just because I haven't really touched it. It's pretty, but I'm just, there's other decks that I mean, it's nice, but I don't reach for it. So, this one may be leaving, and it's just gonna be a matter of, when. All right. The next Oracle deck we have is the Arcana of Astrology. This deck was a unexpected purchase for me. I was actually in Home Goods getting something for my cat because my cat is my life, and I was just walking through the aisles and stumbled upon this deck. It has the astrological signs, the houses, the planets, the asteroids, moon phases. It's really cool. I love using this in, it's versatile. I love using this in my pick a card readings because you can, if I just want to pull like the 12 zodiac signs and work with them that way, I want to start incorporating the planets a little bit more. The card stock isn't amazing, but this, I think you can also get this on Amazon, but yeah, randomly came across this in Home Goods and I'm quite liking it. The guidebook for this, if you want to learn more about astrology, is also kind of a good like starter like understanding of astrology. So I I do recommend this if you are interested in astrology. Some of the other astrology decks out there just don't speak to me, and I wanted something that just showed the zodiac signs so that I could use them for in the planets, which I think is really cool for readings. So I am quite pleased with this, actually. Okay, next up we have Messages from the Mermaids by Karen K. This is newer to my collection. I can't even remember. I may have done a flip through of this. I'm not sure. I love this deck. I love to use this in pick-a-cards. It's diverse, it's colorful, it's bright, it's fun. The majority of my chart is water. And I love the mermaid vibes. I really connect with the water element, and I just love this deck. Very pretty. We even have a merman in here. I'm a merman, Dad. What is that from? Anyways, I'm weird. You've gathered that by now. Alrighty, on to the next one. Y'all, it's the Dark Mirror. I love this deck because it's a freaking shadow deck. I wish there were more of these on the market. I love to pull from this to show shadow to balance out readings because, you know, if I'm throwing all these Doreen Virtue decks on the table, like I gotta balance it out with Anger and Chains, am I right? Yeah, I believe in balanced readings, and everyone's got a shadow that they have to work on. I don't care how much you think you've gotten rid of your ego. There's still a nook and cranny that you may not have discovered, just my personal opinion. And yeah, I love this. The cardstock it's kind of like bending a little bit. Cardstock isn't great. Artwork is okay, but the messages that come through for this I love them. The guidebook is a little weird. The good thing about the guidebook for this is that it is written, I think there's like 7 different languages, maybe more in the guidebook itself. I don't think that it was, English was the first language of the author, and so sometimes it's kind of hard to read through some of the meanings on this, but I love this Addicted card. Bride in a Cage. It's just a really cool one. But other than that, I don't really always use the guidebook for this, but I have, you know, obviously read through it here and there, but highly recommend the Dark Mirror for anyone who wants a shadowy deck. Okay. Down to the last 2, guys. All right. This is the Elle Qui Tarot, or I'm sorry, Elle Qui Oracle. I'm sorry, guys. By, who is this one by? Melanie Dillon and Arwen Lynch Poe. I love this deck. I've connected with this. It is a stunning deck. I even like the back of these, even though the colors aren't, they're a little bit more earthy and natural tones. There's something I really love about this deck. I am not a huge fan of goddess decks, and I've had some in my day, and I've rehomed them because they just didn't speak to me. But this deck is so diverse. She Who Grants Wishes, She Who Becomes. The guidebook is awesome for this. She Who Dreams. So it has the name of the woman, and there's some keywords, and if you go into the guidebook, it gives you a lot more. The artwork is really great in my opinion on this. Beautiful. She Who Changes. There is some diversity in this deck. Just all around, I really like this one. Not as popular as some of the other ones, but I really connect with this. And I love, when I do ritual with a friend of mine, I love to pull on this one for us. She Who Surrenders. So, highly recommend this one. All right. Last but not least, my friends, we have, I didn't do these in any particular order, but this one is definitely one of my favorites and most used. This is the Sacred Destiny by Denise Linn. Denise Linn is fabulous. I love her. I love this deck. She has a lot of Oracle decks out there. This is probably my favorite. Even though there are white borders on this, would I have liked it more if it was borderless? Probably, but I don't mind it. The artwork on this is amazing. The guidebook is even juicier and it gets pretty deep. I don't always use it unless I'm kind of like reading for myself, but this is one of my favorite oracles to use with a tarot reading just because it's fabulous. I have one of my first videos on my channel is a walkthrough of this before I still don't know what I'm doing, but I really didn't know what I was doing my first few videos, so feel free to check that out. But yeah, this one, she has another it's like, I think it's like not enchanted forest, but there's something, she has an oracle deck coming out in the spring, and I'm really excited to see what that one looks like. You can pre-order it, but I want to see the artwork before I order it. But yeah, Denise Linn is awesome. I love her space clearing books, and I just really like her material and her as a person. So yay, Denise Linn. All right, guys, that's it for my Oracle deck collection. Let me know if you're interested in seeing a flip through of any of these decks. And really quickly, guys, I thought this was going to be a missed opportunity before I upload this video. Let's take a look back to the Dark Mirror. I just want to talk about how much this card looks like Taylor Swift. And I also want to correct what I said about getting to 1,000 subscribers. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll be able to do live streams. I think I might be able to do them now, but I'm not super tech savvy and haven't figured that out. But that's what I mean, is I will be able to do live stream readings for you guys, and I look forward to it. Can't wait. Hope everyone's doing well. Have a good night or day. Bye.